Hi there, my name is Kathie Bishop. I'm a medical herbalist specialising in helping women with their vaginal health, and I am the founder and creator of intimate pleasure and wellness brand Into the Wild, and I'm working with TOTM today as part of their content series The Drop. The first topic we're covering today is thrush in pregnancy. Now, if you've ever had thrush before, let alone during pregnancy, you know what a pain it can be. However, thrush is really common in pregnancy. When you're pregnant, it can bring out any predisposition you may have towards thrush, but conversely, if you're someone who suffers with it regularly, it can be a time that it clears up for you. It's a really, really individual response and it can't be predicted. When you're pregnant, progesterone levels are higher than they would normally be while you're cycling in order to maintain the pregnancy, and estrogen levels are also higher, peaking around the third trimester. High levels of estrogen promote a really glycogen-rich environment in the vagina, which feeds the good bacteria, but also sadly feeds the candida species, which are what creates thrush. Another reason can be the many changes that are going on with your immune system while your body is accommodating a growing baby. The immune system is really implicated in thrush and how your body deals with it. So this can be another reason to compound to the estrogen levels. Now, if you're looking at treatment, you can take the traditional kind of Canesten pessary up to 2 weeks before your due date. However, if you want to do something natural and prefer to work in that way, as you're pregnant, I would recommend getting in touch with a qualified practitioner such as a medical herbalist or a nutritional therapist and look and see what you can do together. The second topic we're looking at today is thrush during breastfeeding. Again, it can be really common. After you've given birth, your estrogen levels do start to decrease, but that happens quite slowly. Prolactin levels rise, especially if you're breastfeeding, and this promotes lactation, which does modulate the estrogen levels, but it's still quite an estrogen-rich environment, and this can be a really good reason as to why you're experiencing thrush when you wouldn't normally. People are also asking whether thrush can cause bleeding, and the answer is yes, unfortunately it absolutely can. Thrush is a really inflammatory condition. If you've ever suffered with it badly and you've had a look down there, you'll probably see very sore, inflamed, red skin. It can feel quite hot to touch and it can just feel quite hot in the area in general. It's likely to be very itchy and the temptation is there, especially when you're on your own, to scratch to try and find some relief. I really recommend you don't. Scratching already inflamed skin is going to damage and cause trauma to the mucosa and the tissues there, and this is what can actually create the bleeding. As with any vaginal bleeding, if you're bleeding in between your periods or after sex, please always go to your GP and get it checked out to make sure it's nothing more sinister. However, if you're bleeding vulvally and you have been scratching, it can be very likely that it's caused by that. And I would recommend really trying to stop yourself if you possibly can. Something you could do instead of scratching would be to use an aloe vera gel that can be very cooling and very soothing, or make a strong green tea, let it cool, and find a flannel, and when it's cool, soak the flannel in it and actually apply it, and that can be really soothing and very anti-inflammatory for the area. Finally, a really common question that people ask is, will it go away on its own? Can thrush go away on its own? And the answer is possibly sometimes. If this is the first time you've ever had it and you haven't needed to treat it, it can go away on its own. Also, what can happen is that the symptoms can really subside, but just stay in the background and occasionally flare up. 70% of all women have candida species of fungi living in their vagina, and that's totally natural and normal. Most of the time it doesn't cause any problem. Sometimes it can flare up and you get a bit of an overgrowth. I would say 9 times out of 10 that would need to be treated. If it's an isolated incident, you can probably treat it with over-the-counter medication reasonably successfully. However, it can come back, and sometimes the candida species that are actually going on down there are actually resistant to some of the medications that you can get over the counter. This isn't a recurrent picture. I would say that it's more likely to go away on its own if this is the first time you've ever had it and the symptoms aren't too severe. However, there's no need to suffer in silence basically with it. It's totally normal to have thrush. 3/4 of all women will suffer with it at least once in their lives. between 5 and 9% of all women suffer with it recurrently. So if it isn't going away and it is bothering you, don't let it continue and just hope that it is going to go away. Do seek treatment either from your GP or come and see a herbalist or a naturopath or a nutritional therapist, and there's loads of tools out there that we can work together with to help you. As you can tell, thrush can be quite a tricky thing to deal with, so if you've got any questions at all, drop them in the comments below. And also for more tips, follow me over at Into the Wild and It's Your Power Portal on Instagram, or check out intothewild.com.